you grow up with people who can't see you and act like they don't even like you, who do you think you're going to get into relationships with when you get older? People who treat you like they don't like you, right up until the day they walk out or make the decision to emotionally abandon you and just give up on trying in the relationship. And that breakup, that emotional abandonment, that was coming like a freight train. You will reach for the wrong person 100 out of 100 times, but your traumatic relationships are not your fault. You never stood a chance. Hello, friends. My name is Maria, and for almost 20 years, I chased after people who treated me like if I was having any kind of emotional problem, it was a big problem for them because they didn't want to deal with it. And people like this, they don't deal with it. They abandon you physically or emotionally. As a result, you end up feeling incredibly unseen. Parents who are trying to escape their own relationship or they're consumed by the drama of it, they can end up becoming avoidant to the needs of their children. And by avoidant, I mean it's like they're walking around with blinders on and they really don't have the emotional bandwidth to see and deal with what's going on in their kids' lives every single day. You end up feeling like they never even saw you for who you truly are. They never saw the small things. And as a result, you end up getting into relationships with people who do things that cause you to feel a bit unseen. For example, they'll buy you Christmas gifts, but the gifts don't quite fit your personality, or they'll wish you a happy holiday the day before or after the special day. Yeah, they'll take you to a restaurant, but they still feel distracted. Everything's always a little bit off. They just miss that mark. So many viewers on this channel all say the same thing. They say, I feel like I'm always the one reaching in my relationships. And that probably started when you were a kid. You know, not for nothing, but I have a little girl, and a couple of weeks ago she got sick, and she said to me, "But Mom, did you see all of the spit that came out of my mouth while I was throwing up?" I mean, this girl needed me to see every drop of her pain. It is normal to want the people who are supposed to care about you to see you, especially when you're in distress. And I don't feel for one moment that's some big coincidence that we attach to people who abandon us, especially when the chips are down, like during times when we get really sick. They don't want to deal with it. They avoid the entire situation. It's like the ultimate, if I don't see it, it doesn't exist. And instead of seeing them for the emotionally sick person that they are, we internalize it and we feel like we don't exist. And then we stay far too long in relationships with people who blow hot and cold, who disappear on us or ghost us, and then they come back acting like everything's fine. We accept that they get to decide when we exist. Well, you exist all the time, and don't get involved with anyone who doesn't understand that concept. When we're kids, we make bids for attention. We want validation of our existence. But when we are around adults who go like this enough times, we grow up and we spend the entire rest of our lives trying to reach for attention and get what we needed back then from someone else. The problem is those other people that we grow up and try to get the attention from, whether it be friends or partners, they were never meant to play the role of our parents. And even though secure relationships can heal you in a lot of ways, your core healing will never come from another human being. And if you rely on another person to regulate your emotions all the time, that relationship will be a disaster. And while some people, they see troubled kids with avoidant or troubled parents, and they think, oh, but thank goodness they have other family members, siblings, or friends who love them, teachers, they'll be okay. It is not the same as the unconditional love kids receive from a parent who made an intentional choice to bring them into the world, a parent who sees them and loves them for exactly who they are every single day, flaws and all, all, and not all kids get that lucky, and here's how you can tell. Have you ever met someone who grew up with someone toxic, and everything in their life, especially the negative things, it all boils back to that one person? It was probably a parent. So let's call that parent Sally. So they grew up with toxic Sally. And everyone knows they grew up with toxic Sally, because if you talk to them long enough, or even if they're having a conflict with like a coworker, it really doesn't matter who the individual is. They'll say, oh, that's just like Sally. They don't actually have a problem with this person at work. They have a problem with Sally. Sally is effing up their adult relationships, and it's really sad. Because a lot of times they're still so deep in the bitterness and resentment of what Sally did to them, they can't appreciate anybody else for who they are as an individual. They don't see anybody else. All they can see is Sally. I'm talking about people who are so damaged that they see everyone as Sally, and they systematically, inevitably blow up and destroy every single one of their relationships, romantic, friendships, family, or otherwise. They do this out of fear that they're going to have another Sally situation all over again. This might be a big reason why you were discarded in the past, because people who were abandoned end up abandoning other people. And you have to be really careful with people like this, because eventually, if you stay in a relationship with them, they're going to start seeing you as Sally. Now you're the punching bag for the wrongs of the other person in their life who abandoned them. And in a relationship like this, anytime you try to draw a healthy boundary and be yourself, they turn you into Sally, and they will punish you for it. They don't see you. And maybe you gravitate to them because you are someone who never felt seen. But what if you were the person who had to grow up with someone incredibly toxic, like a Sally? Well, you have to realize that you don't have to live with Sally anymore, but she's also not coming to save you, and she's not going to apologize, and she's not going to give you the benefit of closure. You have to do all of these things for yourself, and in your healing, you understand that not everyone is going to hurt you like that. But you never forget the red flags. One of the most messed up relationships I was in, this man saw everyone as his mother who emotionally abandoned him, as the woman who abandoned him when he was 20 years old. I mean, he never saw any woman in a different way. And he brought his ex up all the time, like way more than he should have on our dates 25 years later. And I did not see that red flag. All I saw was my opportunity to teach him what love really is. That's what we do. We want to show these people that there are other people out there who won't abandon them. Show someone else. I didn't understand, I didn't know, and he abandoned me just like he was recreating the pain of abandonment. It's like this curse that we pass down to everybody. But now we see it, and we do better, and we share it with other people. And if you know someone who is struggling with a crappy relationship, please share this channel, because every week we sit down and paint our nails or do whatever our hobby happens to be, and we talk about all the things we wish we knew about ourselves and relationships a long time ago. And I swear to God, people are not doing this, and it is one of the best things that you can do. Write down what you actually want. I mean, do you want someone who actually cares and gets excited about birthdays and holidays? And okay, maybe they're not a big birthday person themselves, but you definitely want someone who celebrates yours, and that's not being selfish. That's being seen. Here is what being seen is not. Oh my God, he is so hot. Or yeah, girl, you're looking so good. See, I used to think that way. I used to think winning over their attention that way, even for one night, was progress. Oh, we're getting closer. We're bonding. He sees me. He loves me. We're connecting. No, that's all surface level. Physical attraction is not love. Jumping into bed with someone isn't necessarily getting close to them. Welcome to the other half, where we know attraction is not just about looks. Because people who love you superficially, well, they love what you can do for them. Or maybe they love the idea of you. but they don't actually see you. And it all starts when you're young and you navigate this world, and there are days when you're struggling, or you're sick, or you're high, or you're getting really messed up at school every day. Something is happening, and the people that are supposed to notice every little thing about you, they have no idea what's going on in your life. Have you ever seen those documentaries where like a 16-year-old girl meets her tragic, untimely end at the hands of her boyfriend? And they interview the parents, and it comes out after all said and done that he had been really messing her up for 2 years. And the parents just sit there in the interview chairs like, oh my God, I mean, we were so shocked. We had no idea. I mean, she just hit it so well. Yeah, no, she didn't. You just weren't looking. You couldn't see her. And oftentimes, it's this sadness when you get older. It's really hard to grapple with that. It's not just that you realize maybe your parents never saw you. It's that no one around them ever saw you either. You could be constantly surrounded in a room full of adults and feel like you have to battle the world completely alone. And because of that, you're always in survival mode. And do you know what happens when you're always in survival mode? You can't even see yourself, because your whole life becomes about surviving, paying very close attention to other people's moods and emotions, making sure you don't upset them by being yourself, making sure you don't say the wrong thing, making sure that you people please everybody. It is just surviving. And then you feel like you have to survive in your adult relationships. And I get that the dating world is a mess out there. But just because there's a lot of messy people, it doesn't obligate you to have to continue to date a messy person. I mean, you don't have to date anybody. I am 100% prepared to be single. If the day ever comes, God forbid, that something happens to my partner, I have emotionally prepared myself for that, because I am never going back to that self-abandoning nightmare that was my dating life. And I don't see that as being in panic survival mode anymore. Now I'm protecting myself through having respect for myself. And I started practicing self-respect before I finally was able to get into a healthy relationship. When I started to see myself and practice some daily, basic self-respect, things in my life began to align with things that deep down I always wanted. And it set my whole life on fire in a good way. And now I want to help you with your cruddy relationships and your toxic exes that you feel you cannot get away from. In fact, the topic of this video came from a member who I will call Lily, and she also wants to know about boundaries with avoidant family members that blow hot and cold, but you don't really want to go no contact with them. And I think that's a really healthy question to ask. I believe that you can put healthy boundaries in place. But I mean, I have personally found with really toxic, sick people, like family members or partners, the more you're around them, or the more you try to please them, the worse they treat you. And that's actually why, while you can give your family a little more grace because maybe you're not trapped in a household with them, it's hard with romantic partners, and I encourage you more to just get out of that situation, because living with that person in your face day after day, night after night, it can turn you into a shell of a human being and cost you huge opportunities when it comes to your potential and what you're able to contribute to the world. And a big part of boundaries is also accepting that your life is up to you. We all have limitations, and you can love and accept people for their limitations, but some families do go on for years trying to actively destroy your life. And people who come from like normal families and secure backgrounds, they don't get it. Some of the worst advice I've ever gotten was from people that had like super happy families, totally well-meaning, but completely out of their element. And those are the kind of people that simplify everything. Like, why don't you just leave? They look at people like you or me or a friend of mine who's in a relationship with an alcoholic avoidant woman who is ruining his life. Well, I hear the way that people talk about him behind his back. They're like, oh my God, he is so dumb. Why does he keep going back to her? Well, because his mom's a crazy alcoholic. And he hasn't been able to get away from her either. He's still completely enmeshing his life with hers and constantly trying to seek her validation. He never learned how to escape from that. So of course that's what his marriage is going to look like. He never had a chance of anything healthy. And people will try to give him advice like, hey man, just walk away, man. They have no grasp of his reality day to day. They cannot see all of the things he's been through. And people think I'm mean in these videos, especially to exes or people with avoidant attachment. Well, I have to be, because there is obviously some kind of emotional terror where people like my friend or me or you, we feel like we're trapped in this partnership, even though we are fully grown adults. Something inside of you feels trapped. You get stuck in that trap and in that cycle, and it becomes normal. And I'm sure that we've all been in that place where we wouldn't even listen to anybody, even if they gave us good advice. But you proactively clicked on a video like this, which means you are ready. And there does come a time where you get to say, hey, I'm 30, I'm 35, I am 53, and I am not restrained by these people anymore. I can love them for their limitations, but I can still choose to live my life any way that I choose to live it. And I choose not to carry down this avoidant family curse any longer. Those days are over. It's time for you to be seen. Even if today it starts with you seeing yourself for the wonderful, flawed, loving person that you are. Give yourself one thing that you need today. Teach yourself that it's okay to have respect for yourself. Time to set your world on fire and become sunstoppable. And if you want to know why feeling emptiness in life can lead you to becoming addicted to partners who don't see you, I'll put that video right here. My name is Maria Adriana. You did not have to live my life, but I certainly hope you can learn something from it. As always, thank you for visiting The Other Half.